Welcome to the C.L.I.M.B. This is a show dedicated to helping singers, songwriters, and indie artists like you create leverage in the music business. What is leverage? It's a strategic advantage. It's the power to act effectively. It means that you're going to be at the table because you've got something that they need, and what you have is not potential. It's not a promise. It's results. It's some songs that you've had cut. It's some fans that you've got on your social media. It's money. It's cash flow that's coming through. And that's what's going to take to get ahead in this new music industry, to get your publishing deal, to get your booking agent, to get that record deal. You're going to need some leverage. That's why we called it the C.L.I.M.B, C-L-I-M-B, creating leverage in the music business. That is a Brent Baxterism. That is a Brent backronym. Whoa.
Ooh, a backronym.
That just happened.
Oh my gosh. You made my life.
Brent is an award-winning hit songwriter with cuts by Alan Jackson, Randy Travis, Lady Antebellum, Joe Nichols, and more. And he helps songwriters like you turn pro by revealing how you write like a pro, do business like a pro, and on the regular, he connects you with the pros so you can get your shot and start to create a relationship. You can find Brent very easily at songwritingpro.com. Once again, that's songwritingpro.com.
And I would like to introduce you. Easy for me to say, introduce you to my co-host, Johnny Dwinell. Johnny owns Daredevil Production. Daredevil has created over 25 national TV opportunities for their indie artists by making them discoverable. They've created multiple tour opportunities, and through the power of digital marketing data, which sounds sexy, I know, they've attracted a number of investors for their artists. And the investors know that the numbers don't lie because the numbers can't talk, but the investors know how to listen to them. And you can find Johnny at daredevilproduction.com. That's production, singular with no S. And there is no S because there is no other Johnny D.
Well, what's happening, brother?
I'm still thrown by that whole backronym. That changed my world there.
That just happened.
It's funny. You give things a name, it becomes a thing.
That's right.
Before I'm like, I like to make acronyms and stuff that stands for stuff. You're like, now it's a backronym.
It's a Baxternym or a backronym.
I thought this, yeah.
Because you got a lot of them in the Songwriting Pro tenants there. Like, all your songwriting stuff and everything.
Oh, I got a bunch of them. Yeah, I love them.
Yeah, this is a backronym.
Yeah.
A Baxternym.
Backronym. Sounds like what they say when, I walk by with all my 5 kids. It's a backronym.
That's right. So, drop the bomb, man. What are we going to learn today so we can blow their minds?
Well, today we're going to poke you where it hurts. We're going to offer some solutions too. Today we're going to talk about why publishers are not listening to your songs. So if you just got all the publishers in the world listening to your songs and beat down your door, I guess you can go ahead and turn this off. I mean, you'll miss some witty banter, probably, maybe some more acronyms. But if not enough publishers are listening to your music, this might be the episode for you. Let's figure out why that is. Let's do some diagnoses.
Well, before we do that, though, let's take care of a little business here. Give our shout out to disc makers. We've been proud to partner with disc makers at the C.L.I.M.B podcast here for since back in August now. And these guys support indie musicians before indie music was even a thing. They got everything going on over there. It's more than just making CDs, but they got DVDs, they got vinyl, they can distribute your music and videos with customized USBs. You can find all that stuff at discmakers.com. That's DISC makers.com. And that's the only place that you need to go.
And while you're there, you can click on the Guides and Resources tab and download some of their excellent free guides. They've just revised and expanded their home studio handbook, which has a ton of great advice and information for newbies and studio veterans. And by the way, also under Guides and Resources, you can find a little podcast called The Climb on their website. You can listen there. Makes them happy. You can find them online at www.discmakers.com or give them a call at 800-468-9353. That's 800-468-9353.
There we go. And hey, if you haven't done so already, please join the C.L.I.M.B community on Facebook. Lots of activity happening there. Lots of people helping one another, man. The kind of family that you want to belong to, it's there and they're active. It's not I go to so many Facebook groups and it's like tumbleweeds,
Yeah.
The last post that I'm putting up now, mine was the last one, a week ago. You're like, oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah.
This is, lots of good information there on songwriting, marketing, everything like that. Ask to be let in. We let everybody in. Be good boys and girls, or we will roadhouse you out. Make sure that you subscribe to the podcast. That you get all the episodes on Tuesdays, all the mini-sodes on Fridays. They come in order. You can consume them as you wish and pick the ones you want and the ones you don't. You don't miss anything. Take 5 seconds. Leave a rating and review, 5-star rating and review. Make us look good, right? We'll read it on the air.
Appreciate it.
And then the best compliment, Brent, that they could give us is what?
Say I have nice summertime legs. Or they could tell their friends to listen to the C.L.I.M.B.
That's right. Share it. Share it. Tell people about it. If it's helping you, spread the love. Like pay it forward. Share it on your social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Let other people know why you liked it. Just be genuine, and that'll help us get to more people as well.
And unlike, complimenting my legs, you can actually tell people about the C.L.I.M.B with a clear conscience.
That's right. And by the way, speaking of 5-star reviews, we have a new one. This is, as I said, a 5-star review. The title is Incredible for Songwriters. It's by Dan H. from New York City. And he says, I just discovered this podcast last week and have been listening to episodes every day. I'm a songwriter with some opportunities and meetings coming up in the near future. And Brent and Johnny have really helped me learn some essential information to prevent some rookie mistakes. Although I've read songwriting books and taken a few courses, there's nothing like hearing the inspiring and authentic stories that Brent and Johnny share in every single episode. These interviews are fantastic too. Oh, make sure you join the Facebook group too. It's so great to be a part of this awesome community, Dan H. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Dan. I appreciate that. Hey, and if you guys don't believe that's true, if you think we're making this up, hop on over to iTunes. Read the review for yourself. And while you're there, just leave one, too.
Hey, leave one. Yeah, why not?
Hey, we leave this stuff where you can check it out.
Do it. Hey, do it.
Do it. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Do it.
Okay.
All right, so, man, publishers ain't listening to my songs.
I know. It's
what's going on?
The struggle is real. Well, for many songwriters, possibly you, climber out there, trying to get a publisher meeting is really hugely frustrating. And it's just plain difficult to find one who will give you the time of day. So why is it so hard to get a publisher meeting? Well, or even to send in songs and have them listen to you. So today I'm going to talk about 4 reasons why a publisher won't meet with you and one thing you can do to change that. Because I don't want to just point out your pain. I want to try and prescribe some pain pills. All right. So we're going to try and give you some pain pills to make that little pain go away.
Here we go. All right. Number 1.
All right. Number 1. Knock, knock. This is where you say who's there.
Who's there?
Math.
Math is always at the door.
I know.
Why can't it be something different? Why can't it be like a supermodel or like Metallica or like somebody cool?
Well, because Metallica doesn't knock. Metallica rings the doorbell because for whom the bell tolls.
That boom. That just happened. I'm impressed with you. I'm like, hey, country boy, that's good. That's good.
Do what I can. I got jokes, but you only get one. All right. So anyway. So knock, knock math. Okay. So publishers simply don't have enough time to meet with every songwriter who wants some of their time, right? Math just dictates that there are not enough hours in the workday for every, hey, I got a quick, you have time for a quick 15-minute meeting? That is asked of these publishers. I mean, talk to some of these publishers, they get over 100 emails a day with songs and stuff coming in.
Yeah.
100. And that's not counting their own writers who are coming in to sit down. Hey, dude, got a new song. Want you to hear it. Got the new session in. Let's listen to these 5 songs. Got a new demo in. And the pitch meetings that they're doing, going out trying to hook, trying to land songs on records and all that stuff they're doing.
And taking care of their day-to-day of the business that they have on the table already.
Exactly. Taking care of the people they're already paying. Trying to get those songs cut because they don't just bring songs in. They try to get songs out the door. And so, unfortunately, publishers just can't get to everyone. Oh, and another thing about math. It keeps knocking, right? Math also says that the vast majority of songwriters and songs just are not good enough to solve the publisher's problems. The odds are actually better that you'll either be needy or crazy and add to their problems than...
That's a real fact.
It's sad. Yeah. So, yeah, well, crazy people. Every business has crazy people, but, ours just write bad songs. But there's some crazy people that write great songs and some good people that write great songs. And, yeah, I mean, a publisher just can't say yes to everybody. It's just not physically possible to do that. And so that's one reason they're not taking yours. You're just further down the totem pole, and they haven't gotten to you because other things are more pressing that get the yeses than you do right now.
Yeah.
And there's some reasons for that, which we can talk about. But yeah, I mean, we were talking before, Johnny, that, when people hit you up, you tried to make time when you can.
Yeah.
And you probably can't do that for everybody. I know I can't. I get coffee offers. I would be so jacked up on caffeine, Johnny, that, if I took all those coffee offers, I'd spend a lot of time in the bathroom and just shaking. So it's not possible. I got to do stuff that feeds my family, and, you want to, because it's fun, because you love the people, and you love songwriters and artists and that kind of stuff. So it's not like you don't like people, just not enough time. So that's one reason. It's not personal. Right. It's just math.
That's right. Listen, I'm gonna add just the weight of the math thing here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in LA for 15 years. My ex-wife, still friends with her. She's a TV producer. We got a lot of Hollywood friends. I know how the TV business works, and deep cable network, everything like that. There are people that I know personally. Now, I'm not comparing these people to publishers. Every publisher I've met out here, they're doing this because they love music and they love songs and they love songwriters and they just love their jobs. And they love it. Same thing in Hollywood. They love what they're doing, but there are people, like, because of the math, that 90% of the stuff that's going to get in front of them is just not even ready. It's not good.
Yeah, it's not going to solve their problems.
Yeah, it's not competitive. Okay, it's not where it needs to be. Because of that, there are executives in the movie industry and in the TV industry who continually get promoted and climb up the corporate ladder, and all they say is no, because they're right 85 to 90% of the time.
Yeah.
Like, we would sit around at some parties with some of my friends who have created content that got on TV, and you're talking about how does that happen? Like, how do you not have any wins, but you just keep saying no, and
you're failing up or whatever. Yeah.
But that's the real number. These are real conversations that we've had. Those are real numbers. And so I think you've got to be aware of what you're up against. So if you know that that's the number, that's real, then you can, then it's going to take you a couple, 2, 3, 4 times. And if you keep showing up at some point, if you keep on the radar screen, so to speak, not like at their house or anything, but
right. Yeah.
Well,
it's, lottery, right? It's not personal. The publishers, I know they love music. They're scared of missing out on something, right? That's part of why they want to listen to everything they can, because what if that one is the life changer? What if it's I Hope You Dance? What if it's I Drive Your Truck? What if it's whatever, Friends in Low Places? They're scared of missing that. So they want to try and listen to, but they just can't. It's like trying to drink the ocean.
There's not enough hours in the day.
So part of it, the other side of the math is the more swings you take, the better chance that, your lotto numbers are going to come up eventually. But there are other things you can do to turn it in your favor too. And we'll talk about that. But yeah, most stuff just isn't competitive. And so that's part. Don't take it personally. It's, some people say, well, it's, it's a closed group. It's just a good old boys network and all that stuff. It's not a closed network, because if it were, all the hit songwriters would be 80-year-old guys that have been having the hits for the past 30 years.
That's a good point.
People keep coming in.
Yeah. That's a cop out. That's a cop out when they say that. And you know what? The thing is, it's funny that somebody in that position with that kind of negativity, here's another way to look at this. They're taking it personally.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But it's not personal, because they don't even
it's not personal.
They've never heard your music.
Right.
We're talking about why they're not listening to it.
Exactly. Yeah. They don't know you.
Yeah. You got to know the reality of it. It's a job. It's a work thing. It's a, I mean, imagine if you went to work and at a brand new job and you just went right up to the president and you're like, so look, man, when's that VP job opening up down the hall there? I'm sorry. Who are you?
Who are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems kind of silly in that
away from me. That'd be great.
Yeah, right. You look like creepy, you look weird. And then you go back and you're like, oh man, it's a close club up there. Not letting anybody up there.
Exactly.
Silly, right?
But, which leads us to the second point. You made a bad personal first impression. So maybe the publisher did meet you out somewhere, like at an event or the grocery store, and you gave off the creepy vibe when you shoved your CD into their cart alongside her avocados. You know, you just came off too aggressive or creepy or weird or whatever. And maybe you reached out through social media and she, the publisher, saw that post where you ranted about how much radio sucks and songs suck and the artists these days suck and all this stuff. And now the publisher has no desire to give you a second chance to make a worse impression.
Yeah.
So that's part of it too. Just like, no, crazy. No, I ain't got time for that. You look like a problem. Because if you're crazy, even if your songs are pretty good, no.
Don't want to do business like that. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's the thing, man. Unpleasant people may still have a great song, but a publisher is looking for something more valuable than a great song. This publisher is looking for a great songwriter that she can have hits with for years to come. And the bottom line is, if a publisher doesn't like being around you for 5 minutes, they're sure not going to be excited about being around you for 5 years. And so part of it's that personal impression. So maybe you can't get that meeting even if you bounced into them. Maybe, maybe it was a personal thing. Not personal, they don't know you, but you gave off a creepy vibe or an unprofessional vibe where you sloppy drunk, where you, just way too aggressive in a not cool way.
Yeah, or just unprofessional.
Yeah, exactly. You're just,
I see this happen all the time. People don't. I'm thinking about the C.L.I.M.B conference, right?
Yeah.
That we went to. And we're hanging out with Shelby Kennedy. We're hanging out with
Chris Oglesby, yeah.
Chris Oglesby. And do you remember, I think we can tell the story, right?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure
what happened with Chris's computer? Can we?
Oh, we love you, Chris.
Can we say that? Because
poor guy.
It's benign. It's okay, right? So
I hope so.
It happens. Yeah, it happens to everybody. We get to Salt Lake City, and all of a sudden, Chris realizes that he left his freaking laptop computer in the back flap of the seat in front of him on the plane.
Mm-hmm. And that plane is gone.
And its plane is gone, and he's tripping, right? And it's got nothing to do with because the computer costs money. Mm-hmm. It's what's in the computer.
Yeah.
Right. And because this, Carrie Underwood's phone number, everybody's phone
Garth's phone number.
Everybody's number. That gets in the wrong hands and somebody gets that open. I'm going to have a whole lot of explaining to do.
Yeah.
And think about that in terms of somebody like a newbie who's got that negative thing, or they think it's funny maybe to rip on an artist or a songwriter or what's happening in country music today. If you're new and you don't have a relationship, don't go down that road unless they start doing it, and then just laugh along and keep your mouth shut and don't make any comments. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that's not for you to do because you're not there. But they know those people. That's my point. Mm-hmm. You might be talking about one of their best friends, and you're saying something stupid, and they're just like, that's not, you just look like the fool. Now, by the way, just to close the loop, some girl called him, right? From Boston?
Yeah. It's his laptop ended up in Boston, and the lady that had his seat on the next flight got it. The flight attendants were like, yeah, if you give it to us, it's never going to get back to it. So this person somehow got his number off it, called him, and FedExed it overnight. Delivered
Crazy.
it to him.
So cool.
Prices averted.
Cool.
We gave him the hardest time the rest of that weekend. Only because it landed okay. It got back to him. Once he had it in hand, it was on.
That's right. But they know this may be a funny thing for you because you're talking about it from the cheap seats. Yeah. From a faded Matt Dot 4-5 states away. But they do business with these people that you're ripping on. Be careful.
Yeah, exactly. And, we know the other part of the story. You may be ripping on this new artist, but it's dude, I've written with that person. They worked their butt off. They've worked hard. They've been in town for 10 years, and you may not dig their music, but you need to respect that. And the fact that you don't have any clue just shows that you don't have any clue.
Yeah. And if they called on the phone right now and wanted to do a write with you, you do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're on the radio. So no, don't be negative.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. It's you don't understand. And I don't need that kind of negativity in my life.
And that's unprofessional.
Because a publisher's life is mostly rejection, and so they don't need to be importing that. They got enough of that. Thank you.
That's right. That's a good point.
And so go sell your crazy somewhere else. We're all stocked up here. And so that's another thing. Maybe you did meet them out, but you're being negative. The stuff on your socials. If you're ranting and raving about how country music or whatever your chosen genre is sucks, it's not a good look. It's not helpful. And for one thing, it's not going to help you break into that if you don't like it and can't find something worth respecting in it.
Yeah.
And if other people see that, they're like, well, that's what I do. So why do you want to come to me? Because this is what I do. And if obviously you hate that. What are we going to do business together?
Yeah. Right. You've already like ripped on like my gig. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think some of the songs that are on the radio that you say you hate, yeah. I may not love them all, but like, what are the chances you're going to bring something?
Yeah. It's like me say something bad about your sister and then asking for a number if I can ask her out.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like, no.
Your sister, man, she's really friendly, huh? That's what I hear. Got her number?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, no, I'm not going to give you her number. Like, no.
Yeah. Shut up. So, yeah. So, all right. You ready for number 3?
Yes, sir.
Let's keep this same move. Number 3 is you made a bad musical first impression. So maybe, let's say the publisher was out at the Bluebird, the listening room, or, any of whatever, how many places we got in Nashville, to hear, one of their writers, maybe, and you were in the early round. They just got there a little bit early. Or however, they come across your stuff. And if your songs just aren't exciting that publisher, they're too slow, they're too cliche, they're too boring, whatever it is, that publisher's not going to be in a hurry to sit down with you for a half hour. Why? Because there's just not a compelling business interest for him to not meet with someone else so he can meet with you. Because remember, every spot, somebody owns that real estate during the day. And if he is meeting with you, he says yes to your meeting. He's saying no to every other meeting that could occupy that slot. So, and after all, publishers know that writers tend to play their best stuff out, right? You're going to go play out. You're probably going to play your best stuff out. Mm-hmm. So if that's your best and they don't like that, they don't really need to hear anymore. They're like, okay, I've already heard the best you got. I heard you playing out, and that didn't really do anything for me. And so I don't really need to hear anymore, at least not until you've worked on your craft for a few more years, or maybe they start hearing your name some other places and they go, well, okay, maybe I just wasn't hearing it that night, but I keep hearing stuff. Maybe I do need to give this a shot. But maybe it is that they did hear you out somewhere and your music just didn't do it for them. Yeah. So that's why it's a hard time getting a meeting. Or even, if you're writing with one of their writers and, you're trying to get a meeting there and it's still hard. Well, maybe the songs you write with that writer aren't their favorite songs, It's none of that stuff is a given. So there are a few things. So one, just they can't meet with everybody. Maybe they did bump into you or saw you on social and you're not someone they didn't like your vibe. 2, they don't like your music for what they've heard of it. And anything you want to add that before we go on to the next point? Because we can fly on through. Yeah,
I did want to mention this, that a lot of times we get frustrated, we get angry, we get a little jaded, and you get in that space a little bit.
Yeah.
The world's against you. It's a closed club. Like, I'm never going to blah, blah, blah. And these guys should have, but they didn't. And then blah, 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 blah. And it's fixable.
Yeah.
It's fixable. It's a mindset. And I've seen it happen a number of different times in town where with musicians, like with studio musicians that should be A-list, but we're B-list not because of the way they played, because of the attitude, because of the vibe. Yeah. Right. And then I know a handful of musicians who had some friends that somehow communicated to them, this is your problem.
Yeah.
Okay. And you got to stop being so angry and just be grateful and start to come in and just, if you can't say anything nice, then just shut up and do your job and be pleasant,
Yeah, exactly.
And now they're A-list, now they're A-list. The talent, phenomenal. But that energy, no place for that in creativity land.
Yeah. Because we got somebody else talented that we enjoy hanging with.
Yeah.
So if you're not, then let's find somebody else that is.
Yeah. It's easy to get there, but keep that in check, man, because that is, you don't want to be caught doing that in town.
Right.
Or even in your town. Like, what if the one artist in town that may be the one that could cut your song, that could get you that could start it all kind of in a small way, heading in the right direction, and you're ripping on them, trying to be smart and funny and really being unprofessional, but they hear it.
Yeah.
They overhear it. And I don't know why that is, but it's with professionals and with artists, this happens. We had the big CRS party last year, and one of my clients showed up and our attorney was there. And I introduced our attorney to the client. And right off the box, man. He starts in with the freaking lawyer jokes, you know, and he wouldn't stop with it. Like the lawyer hasn't ever heard that before.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks.
And he just rolling his eyes like, please stop, in my head. Like it's a train wreck. But people do that. Like I have close friends of mine that I really can't hang here in Nashville with, because if I'm with somebody that they know, mm-hmm. then they get so uncomfortable that they're trying to be cool and fit in, and they start like ripping on them or trying to do like they just go to this weird, man, just be positive, be cool, be grateful, and hang. It's the hang.
Yeah, it is the hang.
It's the hang. So
you can learn how to hang or hang yourself.
That's right.
You know, you can learn to hang with others, or you can just hang yourself. That's kind of how the business is. So yeah, and the thing, you know, if they don't like your music, write better music.
Yep.
Which you should be trying to do anyway. Even if they love your music, what should you be doing? Writing better songs.
That's right.
That's always the answer. And
you're a testament, Brent. Maybe you do write great songs, but if you're writing great songs in 1995.
Right. That's not doing you a lot of good in 2019.
Yeah. They're not selling those solo cups here. We're selling blue solo cups today. Those are red solo cups. That was cool in the 90s. Today we're selling blue ones. So if you want to write a blue one, like, come on in. Like, that could be, you know, and if you got that kind of talent and you're just angry because they're not selling red ones, but you just, like you did, you just made a shift. Okay. Mm-hmm. And now, and then, you know, boom, boom, boom. You still get
had stuff after that. Yeah.
Yep.
So, point number 4, the publisher simply does not know you exist. So it kind of, you know, it comes down to the math thing too, but literally, I mean, how can a publisher agree to meet with you if you've never stepped into their awareness? If you and your songs never leave your bedroom in Boise or in Des Moines, that publisher meeting is simply not going to happen. You have to get over your fear or whatever it is and do something. Your songs have to enter you, and or your songs have to enter that publisher's awareness in some form or fashion for them to notice you. And to ever get that meeting, to make that connection. And it's not easy because of the math, and because most stuff isn't, you know, they do have some of their guards up and use their filters and stuff, because most stuff is not going to solve their problems. It's just filler. It's not killer. But, you know, or maybe you're ready to do something, but you just don't know what step to take. How do you approach a real deal music publisher in a way that gets his or her attention in a positive way? Do you have to belong to some sort of private club? Is there a secret handshake? All that stuff. Maybe you're just not sure what to do. But you can learn that. There are ways. People do it all the time. I didn't know any publishers until I did. Mm-hmm. I didn't have any publisher meetings until I did. No one believed in my songs until they did.
Yep.
You know, I was not.
You had to believe in them first.
Yeah. Foolishly for quite a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I was not born into a songwriting family. We were not connected. You know, the one guy from my hometown that, you know, his dad was our minister of music. His son wrote An Affair of the Heart for Rick Springfield.
Really?
Been in Nashville. Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
And
cool
so that was like the first guy I met that had been in the business. And, you know, it had a record deal at one point, like Chrysalis or something out in LA, and had a song on VH1, Dreamin'. And, you know, so he would come in and, you know, I'd see him at church, this big tall guy with long rock and roll hair and whatever. He's cool. And so, you know, I started hitting him up and played him a couple things, got a little bit of feedback, but he never opened a door for me. And that was like the only person like connected to our town. He wasn't even from our town, but his dad was the minister of music at our church, you know? So I was not connected to anybody till I connected to somebody.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a wide open club, but it's certainly, the doors are not locked.
But it doesn't happen like winning the lottery.
No.
You know, it really does. You don't just write one song, make one recording, send it in, and then, you know, 5 months later, hey, listen, that thing's awesome. We're going to give that to Garth Brooks. It's going to be his new big hit. You're going to become a millionaire. We're going to fly out on a jet and pick you up at a limo and bring you into the pub company, and you're going to be hanging and hobnobbing with all the big boys. And it doesn't work that way. Like, you got to,
as Hank Jr. said, son, have we got a deal for you? Going to make you a star, give you $50,000 too. I said, I'd take your money. I'd make you movies. Tell you right now, I was born to boogie. Not so much. It's Hank Williams Jr.
Mm-hmm.
But and you know, the thing is, I don't want to just point out these pain points, but this is part of why they're not. So what can we do? How can we get the math in our favor? We take more shots, right? How do we work on making that better first personal impression? Get your business act together, kind of start learning some of the do's and don'ts. And we've probably talked about that. I've talked about it on the blog. We've probably talked about it on the podcast about just how to, present yourself in a good way. How do you fix a bad musical impression? Keep working, keep writing songs, keep writing better songs. How do you work on the publisher doesn't know you exist? Well, I got a little something that can help with that.
There you go.
So what we have coming up, I mean, there are many ways to get to a publisher. There's not just one way, but one way that I provide for the Songwriting Pro community and for the climbers out there is that we do a Play for Publisher event. We do it quarterly. We skipped one last time because I was in China. So hard to, get the
It has been a while, hasn't it?
It has been a while. So it's been like, we skipped a quarter, but we're back. And so we're back in a big way. And our guest this time is Scott Sherrod. He's with Rare Spark Media. And Scott was my plugger at Major Bob Music. And he's had his hand in a bunch of like George Strait, Garth Brooks, Dixie Chicks, Kenny Chesney, whatever, all kinds of, just a ton of cuts he's had his hand in. And he's over at Rare Spark, and he's publishing Walker Hayes. So, You Broke Up With Me and Craig and 90s Country. And so, Craig's doing this thing as an artist. And so he's a legit publisher, been at it a while and knows what he's doing. He's well connected. And so he's just a buddy. So he's going to come in March. And so what we do with the Play for Publisher is, you can submit a song. I whittle it down to the 10 I think have the best chance of catching Scott's ear in a good way. And then we all hop, Scott and I and the 10 songwriters hop on a video conference. So you can do this from anywhere in the world. We've had Sam from Scotland. We've had other people from, Chelsea from Utah. We've had these people jump in with these publishers and people in Nashville, like across town from the publisher's office. And you hop on a video conference and the publisher listens to the songs and you get some back and forth for a few minutes and then you go on to the next one. It's an at-bat. It's a way to get into their consciousness and make a good musical first impression and a chance to make a good personal first impression.
Yep.
Because you are face to face and you get a chance to go back and forth and have a little dialogue for a few minutes. That's why we keep it small, so it's intimate. You have a little bit of that time to make a connection. And there are people, get second meetings out of that or get meetings out of that and start building their relationship. It's a door opener. It's not a deal closer. You don't expect to get a record offered a publishing deal, after listening to one song and your 8-minute window there, but it opens a door. And some people are walking through those doors and getting meetings and building relationships. So if you want to get all the details and figure out how to submit your song, and maybe you're listening to this in the future, we do these every quarter. So we'll probably have another one coming up. But to get the info, just go to giftfrombrent.com. What you'll find there is my free ebook called Think Like a Pro Songwriter. You just download it. When you give me your email address to let me know where to send that, it also puts you on my email list where we send you, a blog post every week. We let you know about opportunities like this to connect with the pros. And that's not the only thing we do to connect you with the pros, but so you get on that to make sure that you're informed about the next Play for Publisher event and you get a chance to get in front of a publisher, no matter where you are.
That's right.
So if you're complaining about it, here's something you can do about it.
Here's a solution, right? Now, I want to add to that, though, because it's more than that. First of all, we had a whole episode called that the music business is a recommendation business. So this is a chance to get in front of a publisher on a recommendation.
Yes, because they know it's curated.
Yeah.
I'll go through a couple hundred songs to find 10.
And they're going to be prepared to want to like it. This is a cool curated thing. The second thing is that you should talk a little bit about the people who don't get in the top 10.
Oh, yeah.
What does that, there's still a huge benefit to that. And what is it?
There is. Thanks. I forgot about that. Yeah. So everybody that submits a song or even they're $10 for a submission slot because I got to listen, right? So it's paid for my time because I spend a couple days on this stuff. But everyone so whether or not you actually submit a song, some people just pay the $10 just so they get on the list. And everyone that purchases a submission slot gets access to the video replay. So when we're doing the meeting, I record it and I put it up, online where only those people have access to it. So that way, maybe your song didn't get selected. Sorry, but you can listen to the 10 songs that did get selected and you can see what the publisher had to say about it. And you can see it's really of you into a publisher meeting. Because it's not that for those little, normally you have a group thing, but there's a lot of it that's the same kind of vibe as a publisher meeting.
Yeah.
And so you can see literally into a publisher's office on Music Row and kind of what they have to say about your songs and hear somebody talking to them. It pulls back the curtain, and that's worth the $10 right there. Even if you don't send it, because I have people that don't even send in songs. Like, I don't have anything that's ready, but I want to know what this is like. I want to know where the bar is set.
Yeah.
You may hear a song and go, "Oh, that's great. Yeah, I see why that made it." And the publisher's like, "Yeah, but
Yep.
Oh man.
Yeah.
No, welcome to Nashville.
You're welcome to Nashville. That's right. But you get the trendy stuff they'll be talking about. Like, you'll get some business stuff. That's really
you definitely get. I mean, they're laying out some nuggets, man.
Yeah.
About what's working, what's not working, what they like, what they hear a ton of, what they don't want to hear any more of, and just that kind of stuff. It's just real world helpful stuff. And so whether or not it's great if you're one of the 10, but there can only be 10, right? That can be there live talking to the publisher, but everybody wins.
Yeah.
If you choose to learn.
Yeah, that's right.
Everybody comes out better off.
That's right.
So so again, go to giftfrombrent.com and you get the free ebook. So that's a win right there. And it's helpful. It's stuff I've learned from my years in the music business, like how to connect with the publisher and a bunch of stuff. And then you'll also get details about this coming up with Scott. The deadline to enter your song is March 2nd, 2019 for this go-round. There'll be other go-rounds in the future. Work tapes are good to send in, so all genres. Scott works, does sync licensing and that kind of stuff. So anything's welcome. So come on.
That's really cool, man.
Yeah. So I want to help connect you to the pros. That's part of that. So.
Well, there you go. So you got to take that chance. You got to take that swing at the bat. That brings us to the end of another Killer C.L.I.M.B episode here. If you haven't joined the C.L.I.M.B community, please do so. We want you in there. Everybody helping everybody else out. And it's super active. Lots of good information. There are good articles on the music business, on what's happening. You're posting all the time with what's going on with publishing company signings and who's doing this and that.
Yeah.
So we try to keep that feed really healthy and fresh, and every day there's new stuff on there, and we put time into it. So there's something to see when you go there. It's not your normal group.
Right.
Make sure you subscribe to the podcast so you get all the episodes and the mini-sodes, and you can consume them as you wish. Take 30 seconds, leave a 5-star rating and review if you don't mind, and let other people know that we're legit. We'll read it on the air, make you famous. And then finally, best compliment.
Summer legs.
Summer legs. Brent's knock knees, his knobby knees, and Harry's skinny little legs.
There we go. Yes.
Can you picture that? Okay, now that we've sufficiently made you nauseous.
Yes.
But no, the best compliment you could give us, guys, if you like this stuff, if it's making sense to you, share it. Tell a friend, put it up on your social media, let other people know about it, because if you're digging it, they could dig it too. That would mean the world to us. We're getting in front of more people. That's what we want to do. So this podcast exists because we want you to win. So keep on climbing.
And we'll see you at the top.